Hey, folks, it's Marvin Cash, the host of The Articulate Flower, back with another Southwest Virginia fishing report with Matt Reilly. Matt, how are you?
I'm doing good, man. How are you?
As always, I'm just trying to stay out of trouble, and you're my last boots on the ground, folks that have been affected by Hurricane Helene. And, how did it impact your community in Southwest Virginia? And, how is it impacting the fishing?
Well, that's a good question. A lot has changed in the last couple of weeks, but we are, our family is perfectly fine, in all the ways that matter, but some folks literally just a couple of miles down the road in Damascus and up the road in Marion, Chilhowie, they're all, dealing with flooding. Damascus got whacked pretty hard. Lots of homes and roads and things lost. Currently, I guess it's a good thing I don't have a lot of trout trips on the books because the national forest is pretty much closed, infrastructure wise. About half of the Virginia Creeper Trail is looking at some pretty serious damage from the top near the town of White Top all the way down to Damascus. So that's not really available anymore. And a lot of the, trails and roads and stuff over that way are not usable currently. So that's certainly a big impact, in terms of like if we were trying to get out there fishing right now, but also just for the economies of these small towns that we live in, because this is usually a pretty crucial time of year outdoor tourism wise for them. The other area that is in our immediate vicinity that got hit hard is the New River Valley. We saw not a record crest, but just 2 feet short of the all-time record crest. That Friday night, Saturday morning after all the rain and flooding came through. And it has, in terms of impact to me, that's certainly been the biggest hurdle at the moment. Lots and lots of boat ramps are unusable, filled in. There's a couple that they're looking at potentially having closed for a long, long time. And the upper New River currently is flowing pretty clear, if you can get on it. And the lower is running chocolate milk still, just because it's turning over all the muddy, debris-filled water that's in Clater Lake right now. So that'll be pretty much a waiting game. I've been speaking with Toby McClanahan, the guy that is our DWR sort of boat ramp maintenance guy, and he's a really busy dude right now. But he's been getting to a lot of things. He told me the other day that basically every ramp that they can get to on the lower New is open right now. It's just a matter of waiting for conditions to kind of right themselves down that way.
Yeah, and I would imagine, too, you probably actually got a lot of traffic in your neck of the woods, because I know basically, at least from Charlotte, one of the routes to kind of get to East Tennessee, Western North Carolina is to actually come up and then go back down 81.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, you look at all the VDOT signs, 181 around here, it tells you either not to go to Western North Carolina, or not to get off of 81, or just to stick to 77 and move on through. So I have not had a reason to go over there yet. But more than anything, I mean, one thing that we've seen here locally for sure is just folks kind of clogging up the roads in some of the towns just to kind of sightsee a little bit, see the damage and look at some of the places they're familiar with. And I'm just trying not to be a part of the problem in that regard if I can help it right now.
Yeah, and I would say, backing up a little bit, tourism is, to say that it's critical to Southwest Virginia, East Tennessee, and Western North Carolina is an understatement. And, a couple things, I'll drop a link in the show notes. I've come up with a list of large charities that are kind of funneling money to boots on the ground in those three areas. for folks, but also too on the tourism side, if you go to your local, go to your state, Department of Transportation, because the road situation is evolving everywhere. And, for places that are open that you can get to, go spend some money. But even if you can't, and I think I saw you write about this as well, you can buy gift certificates and gift cards, right?
Yeah.
And that's a way
Absolutely.
to send money in, that, is helpful to people, kind of, pay them today for services tomorrow. And then in kind of a related point for all of our fishing friends, if you've got a trip on the books, if you can possibly just postpone it till 2025 and let that guide or outfitter keep that deposit, that's a huge deal, so that while people are kind of trying to get back to normal, they're not trying to figure out how to refund deposits to people.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, not to get too in the nitty gritty of things, but as a self-employed fishing guide, I mean, we do have policies for a reason. Most folks will call deposits non-refundable, but as a small business person, usually you have your policies, and then you kind of use your discretion in how you treat people. If somebody has a major thing come up and it's nobody's fault and they're not going to be able to make the trip and they're probably not coming back, maybe you send them a deposit back, but it is a little bit of a tight spot to put people in when they're, potentially lost a month or two of their calendar, and you're reaching out asking for your $100 back or whatever. Just try to avoid that if you can. And then, like you were talking about, visiting some of the places that have reopened, it is really important. I mean, right now, the busiest time of year for the Virginia Creeper Trail, which is probably our locally most well-known outdoor attraction, is this time of year. And I can imagine a lot of folks probably canceling trips. They stay in Damascus or somewhere nearby, and they just don't want to make the trip. But a lot of localities are really trying to get things going and get things online again. I mean, in Abingdon right now, they're really pushing hard this idea of riding the Creeper Trail backwards. So typically most folks would start up on the mountain, the town of White Top. You can take a shuttle. And I mean, just to illustrate how important some of these things are, I mean, there's a half a dozen or more bike rental outfitters, shuttle services in Damascus and Abingdon that all cater to that, that basically have their business model just disappear overnight. But that trail runs all the way down the mountain to Damascus, and then it runs another 17 miles to Abingdon. And that second leg doesn't get a ton of traffic. It's not in the national forest for the most part. It's flatter, so it's not quite as effortless of a ride, but it's beautiful. It runs along couple different rivers, and it's definitely worth doing. So that's something that's definitely an example of the local community kind of getting their stuff together and trying to make the best of a bad situation. So I'd encourage anybody who has been on the trail or comes to town this time of year to consider doing that.
Yeah, and I would say, too, particularly important because all of these regions got hit really, really hard with the COVID impact on their tourism. So they were just kind of getting ready to kind of come out of the other side of that, really, have a couple good years under the belt. And this happened. And, to put a finer point. Yeah, and to put a finer point on it, too, and this, I'll talk about it in the context of a fly shop or an independent guide like you, but this is true for all of these tourism businesses, whether you're a hotel or a restaurant. But if you have a fully booked week as an independent guide and you're going to make several $1,000s and it now turns into people asking for deposits back, that's a huge cash flow swing, right? And if you stack, and if you stack that up over a few weeks or a couple months, that's very significant. And that's happening to all of the restaurants and all of the hospitality venues in these areas. So, folks, do what you can to support these businesses. There's been a tremendous loss of, life and property. Check out the links in the show notes to this episode for ways to give money, because I think things are sort of starting to shift. At least that's kind of what we're hearing in Western North Carolina, where the preference is really not for donations of goods, but more for donation of money to kind of help the kind of more permanent relief structures, be able to target exactly what they need. So, that's just, I guess my view from Charlotte, North Carolina. But I would also say too, Matt, back on the fishing side, I saw your email probably before all this happened that, you're in full swing, looking for booking musky dates and all that kind of stuff. Some winter smallmouth action if people like to go find the big ones when it's chilly, right?
Yeah. So still booking all that stuff. I talk like I'm in a little bit of a holding pattern right now with fishing because, this is typically kind of my transitional week where I'll kind of get and put some boots on the ground, musky fishing and doing some scouting and stuff like that, but it's kind of more or less impossible at the moment. But that's being remedied every day, so it shouldn't be too much longer that we're kind of at a standstill. But I still do have several musky dates open kind of later winter. There's some here and there availability through November, December, mostly. Well, yeah, just a couple, each one of those months. But so that's an option. And then, yeah, our winter smallmouth fishing is another kind of fun program. Much different flavor than the musky program, where we can get out of one of our local tailwaters and usually catch a lot of nice fish in the dead of winter when everything else is pretty much slowed down and gotten tough. So that's another option. If you have any questions about any of those things, feel free to reach out to me however you feel best. All my contact info is on the website. And I look forward to hearing from you.
Yeah. So, folks, check that out. Please check out the links in the show notes for ways to support the relief. And some of those options, by the way, give you the ability to target your money to particular counties. And I would also say if you have information that you want shared, please reach out to me. I'm happy to share it in my social media channels, on the website, and on the podcast. And, folks, if you've been affected, we're certainly thinking about you. Folks, if you can help, this is going to be a multi-year process. So try to think about being able to help in 2025 and 2026. And, if you have a chance to make it to some of these affected areas, please do. Tight lines, everybody. Tight lines, Matt.
Thanks, Marvin.